Most of this video is based on my reading of Warren Miller's autobiography entitled Freedom Found. I'd love to have included clips of Miller and his work, but I could not find any that were not copywritten. Nonetheless, I think you will find the story of his life riveting. I first attended his presentations in the early 70s when I was in junior high school. It was a wonderful gift my non-skiing father gave me each year. Sitting in an auditorium that felt absolutely electric with the shared excitement for the coming season, I was unaware of just how fortunate I was to be hearing Miller's live narration. But the man who sold the world on the dream of a perfect ski life was, in reality, driven by a desperate need for escape. Born in the Great Depression, Warren Miller's early life was a grueling masterclass in survival. With a dysfunctional family, his childhood was defined by poverty and hardship. But the voice we knew, full of easy confidence and wry observation, was forged in that kind of hard-knock life that would make most people quit before they even got started. Warren Miller was born in 1924, and his childhood was anything but glamorous. He grew up in Hollywood, but the Depression stripped away any pretense of luxury. As said, his home life was volatile and unstable. His father was an alcoholic who largely disappeared from the home after his radio career failed. His mother was a convicted felon who served time in prison for her involvement in a welfare scam. Many years later, when his sister and mother were in need of work, Miller hired them to run the business side of his fledgling film career. When it came to light that they stole between $100,000 and $150,000 from his company, Warren cut all ties with them and never saw them again. During much of his childhood, Miller was left to fend for himself, learning self-reliance out of sheer necessity. He hunted for discarded Coca-Cola bottles on the beach just to trade them in for a few cents to buy a snack or something to eat. His later successes in life can easily be traced to this early desperate need to hustle and to be resourceful just to survive. Miller enlisted in the Navy during World War II. This gave him the structure he never had. When discharged in 1946, he didn't go looking for a comfortable corporate job. He took his money and a few cashed-in war bonds and used them for two things he knew he needed: an 8mm Bell & Howell movie camera costing $77, and a copy of his own self-published cartoon book entitled Are My Skis On Straight? He found his tools, and now he just needed the mountain. The year was 1946, and Warren, along with his Navy buddy, Ward Baker, took the revolutionary step of committing fully to the pursuit of skiing. They bought a tiny 4-by-8-foot teardrop trailer. This wasn't a vacation vehicle, it was their mobile base camp, their home, and their office. They towed it to Sun Valley, Idaho, and parked it in the resort's employee parking lot. For 100 freezing days that first winter, this was their entire world. The stories from those Sun Valley years are legendary, defining the term ski bum. They slept nose to toe in that cramped box, cooked every meal on a one-burner camp stove, and bathed in the public washrooms. Their goal was simple: ski every single day. During their first year at Sun Valley, they had no money. When they couldn't dodge lift operators and sneak on the lifts, Miller and Baker would hike for their runs. To secure a season pass the following year, Miller traded his services, offering to paint cartoon murals on the walls of the employee cafeteria at the Challenger Inn at Sun Valley. This mural deal secured him not only a season pass, worth $150 at the time, but also 3 meals a day for the duration of the painting job, a job he took all winter to finish. They survived on nickels and dimes, teaching ski lessons when they could, and engaging in pure, relentless entrepreneurial hustle. Warren would sell copies of his cartoon book and draw quick sketches of people for $1 apiece. Every single part of that revenue, every found bottle, every sold cartoon went right back into their habit, buying film stock, editing costs, and the absolute basics of food and heat. This wasn't a choice, it was survival. It was during these harsh, formative years that he honed his film skills and found his voice. Warren and Ward would film each other to critique their technique. Later, Warren would show these raw, unedited loops to friends while providing humorous running commentary. People loved it. And Warren Miller Entertainment was born. Built on $250 worth of borrowed film and the audacity to think that he could make a living doing this. The debut of his first feature film, Deep and Light, in 1950, was the pivot point. Warren had no money to pay for an assistant, so he did it all himself. He stood beside the projector, shifting lenses, changing reels, and weaving his narrative live. He knew he had to keep the audience entertained for an hour and a half, so he mixed exhilarating action with a steady stream of self-depreciating jokes and philosophical asides. He was so successful that his career became a non-stop, year-long cycle, shooting footage all winter, editing all summer, and then driving from town to town, performing the live narration every fall. He was a prophet for the counterculture before it was the cool thing to do, engaging us all to reject the expected life. He perfectly captured that pull, that obsession that defines winter people, calling skiing one of the last legal turn-ons. As his movies expanded from Sun Valley to the far corners of the globe, the technology changed, but Warren's philosophical wit remained a constant. He captured the pure joy of the powder, but always with a wink, noting the inherent danger with his classic line, "You can't get hurt skiing unless you fall." He was the patron saint of the deferred dream, the guy who gave you that gentle push to take that ski trip, to change your life, or simply appreciate the moment. His famous mantra was simple but deeply effective, cutting through all excuses. If you don't do it this year, you'll be 1 year older when you do. And the wisdom wasn't just about skiing. It was about life, freedom, and perspective. Warren always believed that the pursuit of excellence and adventure was accessible to anyone, not just the wealthy or talented. He framed his own journey as an open invitation to us all, declaring that adventure is the invitation to common people to become uncommon. In 1988, Warren sold his company, having produced a new feature film for 39 consecutive years, an unmatched feat of storytelling endurance. Though the company continued to produce films in his name, Warren never truly retired. He turned his attention to sailing, writing columns, and giving back through his Warren Miller Freedom Foundation, inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs with the same spirit of independence that he lived by. He left us in 2018 at the age of 93. He showed us the most beautiful mountains on earth, but his profound message was always simpler. The freedom you seek is a choice, not a destination. And it's a freedom that's accessible to every one of us every time we strap on our skis. Because no matter where you are, whether it's the Himalayas or your local hill, Warren gave us the perfect closing thought, one that we could all benefit from, about living in the present, when he said, "The best place in the world to ski is where you are skiing that day." I make these videos to share my passion of skiing, and with the hopes that they will in some way make your days skiing more enjoyable. If you had fun watching the video, please like, share, and subscribe to Seniors on the Slopes.